Matthew chapter number 24, verse number 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. If Matthew didn't state that clear enough, no person walking around is going to know when Christ is going to make his second return. No angel up in heaven is going to know when he's going to make his second return. Luke picks it up in the 13th chapter, verse number 32, and even gives us more clarity. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So he is plainly letting us know this day will be a surprise to everyone. Now the scripture gives us to know we will know the season, but that exact day and that exact hour will be a surprise. Now, by him saying we will know the season, he is giving us some type of hint. So we will not be blindsided. Another great hint he gives us, so we'll know the season of proximity, is right here in the 31st chapter. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. The biblical holidays that God instituted back with Moses have been incredibly accurate in terms of how God's timeline has been revealed through the Messiah, the Mashiach, Christ, to mankind. Christ's death was on Pesach, or the Passover. Christ's resurrection was on Feast of First Fruit, 3 days later. The Bikurim offering, 50 days later. His resurrection was on Shavuot, or the day of Pentecost. We can see plainly that God has been using these days. Just take a guess, what's the very next spiritual, or what's the very next holiday after Shavuot? It is Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets, also known as Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. All of these days are the same day, the first day of the 7th month on the biblical year, the first day of the first month on the civil New Year in Jerusalem. So when you say this, the immediate things that come to someone's mind, how could this actually be the day when Christ comes back? Well, if you look at how this day was kept in the time of Moses, in the time of Joshua, in the time of David, in the time of Isaiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, all the way up to Christ, and even after Christ, this day was calculated by the sighting of the new moon. The visual sighting of the new moon, and the new moon would have a crescent from on the right hand side, not the bottom, but on the right hand side. That would be a new moon. No one knew when this day was going to occur. This was before the modern calendar that's used by the nation of Israel existed. People visually looked up into the sky and sighted the new moon the way God meant for them to tell or to sight it. So this was not based on anything predetermined. You did not know until it occurred. And even today with our telescopes and our different tools, no one knows exactly the day of the new moon because the sighting still is hinged upon atmospheric conditions as well as the crescent and the visual sighting of the new moon. So if you ever try to keep or try to pinpoint the sighting of the new moon on Tishri 1, you will perfectly understand what Christ is saying. You will have to wait to see. You will know around the time, but you will not know the day. You will not know the hour. Antichrist will change the times and seasons. So I seriously doubt the modern calendar that is in existence will be eliminated. Somebody may say, well, I can just look up at the sky. The book of Revelation lets us know the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give their light for a third of the day. So time, the instruments to figure this out will be taken away. This is what Christ means. Will it be exactly on that day? I will tell you just like Christ said, only the Father knows. That's not our job to dictate what's in the Father's power. God, we bless you. We give you glory and honor and power. Thank God.